Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for North Dakota Today. I'm Lisa Badeau here with Chris Berg. Back to school for more kids today. How did day one go for Isabella?
Really, really well. She loved it. Day two is well on its way already. She kicks off at 8:20, so
okay,
she's doing her thing already, and she enjoys it.
And she's staying at home. We got to see her beautiful desk.
Little setup, and so she had a really, really nice day. She's got a couple great teachers. They're, teaching different subjects, and so I think it's going to be really, really good for her.
I think she'll enjoy it. She really thrives on a routine, I think, as well, and loves reading and learning, I think, like so many other kids. Today, actually, it's a big day for West Fargo schools, back to school today, but not for the Badeau girls because of the split of the alphabet. We don't go back until next Tuesday, but I know it was a busy scene over at West Fargo schools today. I think we have a little bit of video of that drop off and pick up once again. I think, too, it's like back to school day for some Fargo students too. Not everybody started in Fargo yesterday. So, oh, you know what? This looks like it's not today's video because today they would not have been actually, I think they're actually eating in their classrooms. In smaller areas as well. Smaller classrooms, I was going to say. I'm trying to get things fixed here. But anyway, back to school for West Fargo schools. Today, at least half of the students. Super great interview that we had yesterday with Superintendent Sletty. She told us once again the goal is to get students back into the classroom 5 days a week when it is safe to do so, which I think a lot of families want to hear that because we want to do it the right way, the safe way, but...
Yeah, and it's fascinating you bring that up because when Dr. Burks was in town, I asked her, I said, because as we all know, the mask thing is kind of this thing for some people. And so I was like, okay, so what's the metric when you're going to say, all right, masks are no longer mandatory, right? And she's like, I don't think we really know right now. And so when you talk about bringing kids back to school 5 days a week, like, what's going to be that metric? How are they going to determine that? I mean, that could be very, very interesting. Like, you're going to need a calculus teacher to figure that one out.
Well, and I don't know if I can count her as my source here because I never really met her, but I was at the nail salon yesterday, and that's where I get some really great scoops. Anyway, I was going to get my nails done, and we're all masked up and divided by, plexiglass. Anyway, there was a gal 2 seats down, and she said she does some, preschool. She's in the classroom. I think it was some social work in classrooms, and she said she was in the classroom this summer, and she said the kids were really incredible with wearing their masks. She's like, I'm not even really sure why I was worried about it. And she said, elementary age, K1, 2, 3, she said they were great. They didn't fight wearing their masks at all.
Interesting.
So, anyway, just a little bit different.
Because they all poked holes in them, and it was like, okay, I'm good, teach.
Their fingers were up underneath those masks. Anyway, lots of changes. And I know, today with the back to school, we didn't have the right, drop off, pull up. But I don't know if I mentioned this to you. Obviously we've talked about parents don't get to go into the classrooms. That was the same with West Fargo. Next Tuesday, I'll be bringing my kids, or my elementary daughter, to the basketball court. We're going to meet the rest of her students outside of the building. I'm like, okay, well, I can work with that as well.
And, for parents out there, be grateful. I talked to a friend of mine last night or the other day in Cali, and they said that the parents can't even go on campus.
Oh.
You can't even go on campus in Cali. So it may be odd to say, okay, I'm going to the basketball court, but at least you're on campus and in the vicinity.
How do you take that picture? Like out the window from the car? The child's next to the school,
I think
and you're
like,
roll down
like
the window.
3 and be like, okay, have a good day.
That's crazy. So since we're kind of talking about coronavirus in the new world we live in, another big name just announced that he has COVID. I don't know if you heard about this. I thought The Rock was maybe untouchable because, if you know him, Dwayne, The Rock. What's his actual last name?
Johnson, I think.
Johnson.
Yeah.
He is just an animal. Well, he just announced that.
A little helpful update on some of the things that I have been going through on my end for the past 2.5 to 3 weeks now. So the update is this. My wife, Lauren, as well as my 2 baby girls and myself, we have all tested positive for COVID-19.
Okay. So, and his daughters, 4 and 2. But, looking at him and looking at the size of his neck and chest right there, it's like, how can anything touch him. So anyway, just good news that they're doing well now and feeling great. I know I keep telling myself, just like, follow the rules, but keep in shape, keep myself healthy, and then,
Exactly.
but, I think that does play into it. But I also appreciate when people go ahead and share their story, and of course he can get it out there because everyone wants to know, can you smell what the Rock? Isn't that his saying? Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
I don't know.
I think it was something like that.
Tony, I haven't heard that.
So what? That was when he was a wrestler. Yeah, now he's known more as like an actor, and he has great family movies. But yeah, that was what? You don't know that? No. Can you smell what the? Okay. Well, I guess I'm more of a Rock fan than you are. So.
That is fantastic.
Okay, if you were wondering how they're going to make money, which I think we all were, some royal news for you. Intermixing royal news and Netflix. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan have just signed a multi-year production deal with Netflix.
What?
We talked about Meghan voicing some of those Disney, things. So I guess this is right along what she's interested in. They say they're going to be producing a nature series, documentaries, and children's programming for Netflix. I don't know if they're going to, Netflix is doing well, so maybe they will be able to continue living their lavish life just off a Netflix salary. I don't know, but
I guess we'll see how that goes.
I was still interested, right? You had to know they were working on something. 'Cause
Yeah.
How can they
Well, I mean, you remember the video when Prince was pitching Iger from Disney? I mean, he was like, he had Iger like cornered, like, hey, she's got a good voice, she can do this and that, and you're kind of like, dude, you're the Prince, you don't need to be pitching, Bob Iger. But apparently he did and does, and that's how she got, because Disney produced that dolphins and elephant thing. I don't remember which one she VO'd for, but she voiced over one of them, and so he had some swagger.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Say anything. He's like, what do you want? Yes, right now.
Exactly.
That's cool. Well, we'll see. I will watch the shows and then give my review and see if
That's a good idea.
it's part of my job. Can I clock in for that?
I wonder if she'll do like a Princess Bride. What would it be? Princess Bride 3, 4, 5 at this point?
I love all of those. Princess Bride, Princess Diaries, all of that right up there. They have to expand into more reality, kind of the life of, Meghan and Harry, because that's what I want to watch too. Before we move on, I want to show this crazy video. I don't know if you got to see this yesterday. Magician David Blaine, some people say he's walking around with his head in the clouds. Well, this was like a really out there stunt by him. He did this in Arizona. The magician literally floated up into the air, strapped to dozens of helium-filled balloons to see how high he could fly. And do you want to know how high? 24,500 feet.
He did not.
Yeah. How terrifying is that? Do you know what kids' movie I think about, though?
Up.
Up.
I love that. That's exactly where I was,
and
too.
pull the whole house.
So how did he get down?
I know I did read some on that. The director said, a needle. He came down very fast.
He did what Up did. He started bumping into mountains.
He did finally come down to earth when he disconnected from a bunch of the balloons and he deployed a parachute, landed safely into the desert. So there you go.
Wow.
No pin. They got to shoot darts. Somebody had a... All right, stay with us. Coming up here next on North Dakota Today, we want to check in with Culver's. They're thanking those that have taken food from field to table with Culver's Scoops of Thanks Day. We're talking about that next.